Hey, Dick, are you there now?
Yeah, I'm here right now.
Hey, man, how are you, sir? Got Kevin Brockway here with us.
Well, you're in trouble then if you got Brockway.
We stay in trouble, man. We stay in trouble. How are things going with you?
Well, I just got back from, I'm wiped out a little bit. Just got back from Hawaii. We were in Maui and then went to the Big Island to celebrate my 50th anniversary with my wife, Lorraine, and my family. Took my grandkids, my daughters, my sons-in-laws, and we had a blast. Just got back this weekend.
Yeah, we just had Mike DeCourcy on earlier, and he was talking about that. He thought that you'd just gotten back out there from celebrating that 50 years with Lorraine. So congratulations, by the way, on that.
Well, thank you. Also celebrated my 28th birthday in reverse. I still act about 12, though, and I just I have a lot of fun. I really somebody told me the other day, where do you get your energy and your enthusiasm? I said, when you do something you love, man. And I've loved what I've done now for 43 years at ESPN. And prior to that, coaching. All my life, I've never felt that I've worked a day in my life. It's been something that just is incredible when you're doing something you love. It's not like going to work. And I've been very, very blessed. And I just hope it keeps going on. I don't know how much longer. I want to go to 100, though.
Man, that's what I say. You are without question the most iconic ambassador of college basketball that there has been and is and will ever be. And it's still going. And that's the amazing thing. We were just talking about that when you joined us. I was like, it's still going. It's amazing that anybody can do that. But, man, you have that passion that Kevin just talked about. Having that passion is what it takes. And, man, you have that in spades.
Well, I'll tell you, Jim, thank you very much for that. I've always tried to be passionate about anything I've ever done in life, whether it be a speaking engagement, whether it be a commercial like I have out now at Geico. I don't know if you guys saw me get my bath with the Geico people and just, everything I've ever done. And I appreciate so many times people come up to me and just they're so kind. They come up and, hey, Dick, love your energy, love your enthusiasm. And you know what? Right now, my wife got such a kick. I mean, we're in Hawaii. And she says to me, I can't believe that these people coming up to you, knowing all your terms, knowing all, hey, am I awesome, baby? Guy driving us around in a golf cart. I mean, look like the least basketball fan you could ever want to see. He had all my terms down. Awesome, baby. This and that. It was just great to see, and it was just fun. A friend of mine the other day FaceTimed Jamie Foxx. I'm a big Jamie Foxx fan. So when he told him, he said, Jamie, I got a special guy that wants to talk to you. He said he's a big fan of yours. And as soon as I came on, Jamie Foxx goes, wow, am I awesome, baby? Am I a PTP? And, it's amazing how some of that lingo has taken on part of college basketball. And I'm proud. I'm proud of the fact that I've lasted 43 years because you guys know this business as well as I do, that it's a very subjective business. It's, who likes who. I've seen some great talents not get rehired, and it just blows my mind. But that's probably the biggest thing I'm really proud of, is to be able to survive. I don't know how many presidents and people in charge of basketball, and been there from the day one, December 5, 1979, when I did the first game out there with Joe Boyle. We did the game between Wisconsin and DePaul, number one in the country, out there in Chicago. And if you would have told me then that I'll be talking to you 43 years later and still doing games, I'd say you're crazy.
I've seen that clip. Know, how many, and just quickly on the commercial, how many takes and how cold was the water that I dumped all over you?
Kevin, let me tell you this, Jim. They told me ahead of time, we're going to do 3 takes. We're going to do 3 takes, 3 times you're going to change clothes, and then we'll take the best one. If it doesn't work, we have another plan we're going to do. The biggest problem was when we went to dump the thing on my head, I couldn't lift that thing up at 2 inches off the ground. So they got together, all their geniuses there, and they got a lot of really bright people. They got together and they said, we're going to make it work. But on this word, when you say, I think it was baby or awesome, one of the words, as soon as I say it, when you lift that thing, it's going to be like a paper nothing, because they're going to have a pulley in the back, pull that thing up. Because I'm telling you, there was no way I could get that up on myself. No way at all. But that's what I did it technically, and it was a lot of fun. Great people to work with, and I've gotten more unbelievable mentions on Geico than a lot of things I've done in the world of television, because really, I guess that caught the fancy of a lot of people.
Yeah, I love that commercial. I was like, man, I cannot believe they got Dick Vitale to dump a bucket of water on his head, but they did. So many great things going on, and you were here last year or the year before last now. I can't believe it. But for the return of Bob Knight to Assembly Hall, how special that had to be. I know for the VIU fans, but for you too, because you have called for that for so long. You had become friends with Bob Knight, and that was important just for everybody. The healing that is done, it was just one of the great moments in Assembly Hall history.
Yeah, it was really a terrific thing, and so many people were a part of that start. We certainly got to think about Quentin Buckner and the people in Indiana and former players, Laskowski, all those guys got involved, and Randy Whitman, I guess, and was just terrific to see, because really it was scary there for a while. I spent the whole day Friday. I was going to go to the shoot around, but I didn't go because I had the game that night. But I was at Bob's house with his wife Karen and his son Patrick, and we were there talking and reminiscing, and I just really was concerned whether or not it would follow through and this thing was going to happen, and they made it happen. The team doctor got involved big time, and they made it happen, and it was just great to see the kind of love and respect that those people had for him. He quite an unbelievable story, unbelievable when you think of his career and what he did. And, there's been some moments, obviously, that weren't moments that I even think that if he really had to do them over, he'd do them differently. But the bottom line is he loved coaching in Indiana. He loved it. He absolutely, his heart was so broken when that came to an end. And I know it was real tough for him to buy. I tried to get him back so many times and just wouldn't hear it. He wouldn't hear it. One time he told me, he said, if this conversation, I think it was they were honoring their team. They were honoring, it might have been Kevin, a 40-year reunion or something.
Yeah, for the 76 team.
Yeah, the 76 team. And I got on the phone with him, and I'm begging him. I said, look, you got to come, man. This is special. They'll go nuts. He goes like that. Says only Bob can, with a few choice words in there as well. A few we will not mention on the air. If this conversation goes any longer about this, I'm hanging up. And you know what? I said no. He just was so hurt, just hurt. And I think it was great for him to see the love, though, from all the players, and the reaction he got from the crowd was fantastic.
And now you've got Mike Woodson coming in to kind of get Indiana back to the days that he played under Bob Knight and that style, and bring Hoosier Nation back together. Very important. You got Dane Fife in. There's just a lot of big-time pieces that they have put together on this staff.
Well, I think certainly it was a good hire. There's no question. I think right now, when you look at it on paper, it's a terrific hire. However, I thought that, and I'll be honest with you, when Archie Miller got hired, I was a big fan of that. I thought he did such an amazing job everywhere he was, including Dayton, and I thought he was going to be a home run. I really did. And then, unfortunately, things didn't go well. And then, he started to get into a little battle with the media, battle with the fans in a way, and that all backfires. You can't, you can play that kind of game when you're winning big, but you're not winning big. That ultimately, causes you the problems, and it became a dilemma. And then, just unfortunately, a change was made there, and here comes Mike, and Mike brings that Indiana love for the fan. Man, he brings that unbelievable feel. He was a great player. They loved him there as a player. He's done well as a coach wherever he's been. I think he'll adjust. I think one of the best things he did was right away hire Dane Fife. I think that was a terrific move. I think that's a positive in every way possible. Because Tom Izzo thought the world of him.
Absolutely. I didn't think he would leave Michigan State, to be honest with you, but he has shown that his unbelievable love for the school. We were talking earlier about kids that don't come from Indiana, but they still have an unbelievable love for their school once they have played here, and he's one of them.
Jim, when you think about, look at Duke and look at Carolina for years. Both those programs have people that work on that sideline that have a tremendous passion and love for the jersey and for the uniform. I don't care. You look at Mike Krzyzewski over the years, his staff included guys like Wojo, included guys like Tommy Amica, guys that love that school, love it dearly. And the same with North Carolina. When you look at their staff over the years, you got right now Hubert Davis stepping in, John Shire. Both guys, I've never heard a bad word about either guy. Obviously, when you lose games, especially today with social media and with the radio talk shows, it's tough. It's tough what you got to deal with. But I'll tell you one thing, going in there, they'll have the support of everyone. And the one thing is the jersey still says Duke, says Carolina, so they're going to get their share of players. And that should happen with Indiana because Indiana fell from – I'm doing a new book right now. We're doing a new book, Dick Weiss and I, about the changes in the game, basically the game I've loved and watching the changes since when I started to today. And some of the changes, one of the things we're doing is the Blue Bloods, the Blue Blood programs, have the consistency of the recent years. And we talked about Indiana, but Indiana right now is not a Blue Blood program. It's not. It's not right now because they haven't had any kind of success lately that you'd put them in that category like you can put a Kentucky and a Carolina and a Duke and a Michigan State. But you can't do that right now with Indiana because they've really lost that edge.
Yeah, and hopefully that's the big key of what Hoosier Nation is hoping for, that they get that back, because there's been an attitude that hasn't been there. There's just been a lot of things missing, but not having an Indiana person there has been something that a lot of fans have wanted to see, and that has been the case since Bob Knight left. They kind of went away from that, and there was an intent to get back to that with Mike Woodson.
I think they made a good choice. I really do. I think Mike's going to do an excellent job. I think everything's falling in place right now. Well, remember this, though. There's a love affair right now. You're undefeated. Haven't lost the game.
That's right.
That changes. That love affair changes quickly when the L's pile up. And I'll tell you one thing, in the Big Ten, you get your share of L's. I mean, the league is, you saw last year, Kevin, how tough that league was. I mean, every game was a battle and a war. And certainly when you look now, Michigan has come on big in recruiting. Juwan Howard, certainly the Ann Arbor fans got great news when he announced that he's not interested in any NBA job. And that's a big plus for them.
And then you've got guys like Armand Hill and Thad Matta on staff that can now actually coach a little bit with the rules changes.
Yeah, the rule changes are amazing. I tell you this, having Matta there, I'd say that was a big plus for him. Rules out there in basketball, and trying to finalize this. I got to run it, but let me tell you this. I don't know about you guys. I'm very upset about the fact that we got 1,700 kids in a portal, transfer portal. That's not what the rule was for. 1,700. You don't have to go to unbelievable Harvard to figure out, with 350 approximate teams playing, that's like 5 players a team. The whole idea initially was to put that rule in so that you could benefit kids who maybe don't play and now they want to transfer, let them play right away. Well, it's become a recruiting unbelievable situation. It's become a lot of wheeling and dealing behind the scenes. It's become where rules are being broken in their own little way, where word gets out through a certain staff, from various staffs rather, gets out to certain people that are close to a player. Hey, let him know if he puts his name in a portal, we're coming after him. And that was not the intent of the rule. And now it's out of control. It's like wild free agency. The argument we get, Jim and Kevin, all the time is, well, coaches, they leave, and coaches can coach right away. Why should players be penalized? Well, let's solve that problem immediately. You solve that very simply. If a coach is fired or a coach leaves, let's say Archie Miller's case, all those kids should have the right to move on as well and play immediately. And then you eliminate that argument. And the other part of it is, it's not apples to apples. You got 1,700 players. You don't get 1,700 coaches. You got 40 coaches that move on. It's just not good for the game. There's no stability. And coaches, trust me, I've talked to a lot of coaches. They're not happy. But they're not going to come out in the paper and say it because they don't want to turn kids off who they're trying to recruit. But the bottom line is they're frustrated because you got to manage. Now your new thing is managing a roster, trying to figure who's going to be there, when they're going to be. Are they going to leave tomorrow, go somewhere else, transfer?
Yeah, and then you got to worry about all the freshmen and high school freshmen or high school seniors and all that are being affected as well.
Absolutely, they're being affected. And then what about, have we ever thought about developing a kid as a person? What about loyalty? What about a kid? I mean, think about this. When you lose your top 6 players, top 7, you lose kids that your leading scorer and the leading assist guy in the conference, and he goes to a conference school like the kid did from Tom Crean in Georgia, Wheeler, and he goes over to Kentucky. That's frustrating. That's got to really frustrate coaches. Or you look at a kid, big-time scorer down in Arizona State. It's not like they're not playing. They're playing major, major minutes. And I just think the whole thing has gotten totally out of whack. In fact, it prompted me about 3 weeks ago to call up. I called up the executive director, and I called him up, and I simply said, Mark, to Mr. Emmert, we got on the phone, and we spoke about it. And I said, what's going on? I'm going to share this with you. Don't get angry. I'm going to share this with you. There's an ugly feeling among many of coaches. They don't like what's going on out there about several things, the transfer portal and the scenario with schools been charged with allegations, all this jazz over almost 5 years ago and no decisions made. It's just crazy. And he was very honest. He was very transparent. He was honest. He said, right to me, Dick, I'm very frustrated by it. I'm frustrated about several things in the world of college basketball, and I am. You can quote me on that. And I think, they got this independent committee now. They got the NCAA does all the research, all the investigation, all the things, and then now it's got to be redone again because the school goes to this independent committee.
No
Is your I don't want to forget your gala. Where's that? Now we're post-COVID. Is your gala back on track?
Well, my gala, we just had it in May, and what a night we had. We had it May 7th, and it was incredible. We raised $6.5 million. It was we were allowed to have 500 people. We normally have 1,000, but the Ritz-Carlton said they had to go half because of COVID. We had 500 people, and we still raised $6.5 million for the night for kids battling cancer. And I can't say how proud probably of all the things I've done in my life. We've raised now $44 million. I am hoping and praying that next year at our gala, we're going to be honoring next year the national championship coach, Mr. Drew from down in Baylor. We're going to be honoring Keyshawn Johnson, a Super Bowl champ here in the Tampa area when he played for the Bucks, now an ESPN host. And we're honoring an icon, a legend in the world of tennis, Chris Evert. And it should be a great night. And just, I can't tell you how happy I am that so many people supported. We had like 60, 70 celebrities with us. They all come free. Donations were off the charts on the auction items because people realize it's for a great cause. It's for kids battling cancer. And there is nothing worse than a mom and dad having to face that. So if anybody out there would like to join my team, you don't even have to come to the gala. You could join my team by simply donating and be part of my goal for next year. I want $6 million again because I want to reach the $50 million mark since I started. And every one of those dollars has gone for research through the V Foundation. People, if they want to donate, Jim and Kevin, simply tell them, just go to dickvitale.com and you'll see right there a page where it says the V Foundation, donate for kids.
It's an amazing event. I went in 2009, Dick. I remember when Billy Donovan was the keynote speaker, and what you do for pediatric cancer research and awareness is really amazing, and I think everyone around the country is really appreciative.
Absolutely,
I really appreciate that. I really do, guys. I'm trying to catch up with my time frame. 6 hour difference down here in Hawaii. It takes a while to get used to getting back on a normal line, but we had such a great time there, man. Such a great place to be. I tell you. See that Pacific Ocean, the sun shining. It just made me feel like I was 12 years old.
Do you know Carl Liebert that was on the Valvano board?
Absolutely. Know him well.
We graduated high school together.
He went to the Naval Academy.
Right. Played with David Robinson.
Yeah, played well. Carl, listen to this. I got a quick story, and I got to run. I really do. Carl Liebert, listen to this, invites me to speak in San Antonio. Lives in San Antonio. I was down in San Antonio to speak. David was at the event. And I got up and I said, Carl, it's so great you're having an event here. I think it's great. I want the people to notice, Carl, what a great player you are. I said, let me tell you this. I did the game Navy against Kentucky. It was a great game. And then with Keith Jackson on ABC when Navy was really good with the Admiral. And they got Kentucky on the ropes, man. And I said, between Carl and David, you people have to understand. They had 45 points and they had like 28 rebounds between the two guys. And I said, it was unbelievable. David had 44 points and 26 rebounds. And Carl had 1 point. The place went nuts. David starts laughing his up. But it was true. It's one of the only times I ever gave a player a standing ovation when he fouled out. David fouled out in the last 2 minutes of the game and Charlie turned the game around. But he I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it was in the 40s, and I know it was about 10 block shots, about 15 to 18 rebounds, whatever it was. It was one of the great performances, carrying a bunch of guys against a Kentucky team where you had a chance for a win. And I stood up and Keith Jackson goes, you really like that guy, don't you? I said, yeah. I said, that is special, Keith, what we witnessed today, baby.
Keith Jackson and Dick Vitale, man, you talk about two of the greatest ever. But yeah, me and Carl graduated high school together. That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, Carl's a very successful businessman. He's been an incredible force, and he does a great job with the V Foundation as well. Small world, man. Yeah, I do know Carl Liebert.
Absolutely. Dick, I cannot thank you enough. As always, make sure you follow him at dickvitale.com. We'll get that up on Indiana Rivals as well, so people can always follow that for your V Foundation. And we're thinking of Bob Valvano as well, a friend down in Louisville.
Yeah, Bobby's battling cancer right now. I was on Bobby's show. He called me. This is amazing, too. Now, 6-hour time difference, right? All of a sudden, it's about 3:30 in the morning in Maui, and my phone is going crazy. My phone is going crazy. What the hell? You're thinking about family. Well, my family was all with me, all my family, close family. But you wonder, and I finally look at my phone, the text messages flooded. Mike Krzyzewski has just retired. I mean, 3:30. So the show I went on one show basically. I went on certainly Bob's show. Then I did one interview I did with Mike DeCourcy, guys I wanted to do it with because I could have been on the phone all day. I was on vacation. I said when I spoke to Mike. I said thanks a lot, Mike. I said I appreciate it. The timing was great.
Man, you are the greatest without question, the greatest there has been, and the greatest ambassador for college basketball there has been. We appreciate you immensely, Dick. Thank you so much, man.
Well, I really appreciate it. I'll tell you one thing, Jim. Now I know I got fired by the Pistons. My backcourt looked like you and Brockway, and I know you guys can't play.
That's right, man. Hey, who's the best Pete? You're your favorite PTPers, though, right?
Yeah, you're good guys, real good people. Isn't that more important in life? To me, important in life is really being good to people. I think the one thing we're missing in our nation so much, is love. We don't have enough love. We got too much hate out there. My mother taught me as a kid. My mom and dad were uneducated, but they had a doctorate of love. And my mom and dad used to say all the time to me, never was Dick, was Richie. Richie, treat people how you want to be treated. And if we all did that, if we all treated one another like we want to be treated, my God, we would have an unbelievable loving nation instead of all this hate.
Absolutely. I cannot agree with you more. Tom Allen, Indiana football, LEO, he lives it. Dick Vitale is the greatest. We appreciate you immensely, man. Go rest up. Get rested up from your vacation. That's usually what happens. Thank you so much, buddy. Have a good rest of your summer, Dick.
Well, thanks. You guys are awesome, baby, with a capital A. Kevin and Jimmy.
Love that.
Dick Vitale joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat. Man, I could not be happier in the world to have that guy joining us. There is nothing that makes your day better. You talk about bringing fun and entertainment. He just does it without even lifting a finger. He is just incredible. Talking to him, he's always full of life. And that is, you can't fake that. Not at 80 years old, you can't fake it.
Some great stories, too, about Navy and David Robinson and the Geico takes and, the commercials. And It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. That's what my grandmother taught me. So that's